All right, we're leaving the schoolhouse, which is basically in the center of this village, I'll call it. And that's what it is. It was an old farm village. And this is when they tore the farming all out and put in all the new modern stuff. There's a brand new, you call modern school over there. They left this, and it's like a time capsule that you can walk into and be part of it. I told my sister, I says, you could come here literally, it's hot today, but on a day where it isn't, go into the schoolhouse, bring your lunch, and sit down and have lunch and read a book and feel like you're living in 1930. So we're going to go on down to this next house here, and we'll see what we find out. I have no clue what's in here. Now this is where it comes from, Wunderlich. That was their last name, Catherine Hophius Wunderlich. And I like to listen to old-time radio shows, and there's a radio show that came out of Ohio, and it was a German-based old radio program. It's a comedy from the 1950s called Big John and Sparky. And Sparky's a little boy from outer space, and he gets into all kinds of mischief and troubles. It's a hilarious radio show, and he belongs to, I'll call it a gang of kids, and two of the kids that are in the gang are called the Wunderlich twins, and I never could understand that until I got here and found out it was a German name. And the Wunderlich twins in that radio show are notorious because they don't talk. And when Sparky needs to get a hold of them, he says they won't answer the phone because they're afraid to talk to anybody. Kind of crazy, but we're going to go on in here now. And I also noticed they got flags from different countries here. I see the German flag, French flag. I want to say, I'm not positive. I don't know what that is. I want to say it's maybe Switzerland. But whatever it is, so this place was, originally, you have, the majority were German, but I guess there was other immigrants that came here to farm too. So let's go walking inside and find out what there is to see. Crazy old silverware, how they'd wash up, doing the dishes the old-fashioned way. All right, here we are, folks.
Another thing too, there were no, you think about it, there's no birth control. Yeah, I mean, you got married, you had children. It was ordained by God. Do you remember somebody taking a wicker stroller and making a go-kart out of it?
My sister just asked, do I remember somebody taking a wicker stroller and making a go-kart out of it? And she's talking about me, and yes, I remember. And it was a ass-kicking go-kart, not motor-powered, but when you rolled down the hill, and it wasn't an outhouse racer either. My father, when I did it, he didn't know, because it had literally been his stroller from when he was a baby. This thing was like, from the era of, 1910. And he come home and he just flipped when he saw what I had done. Pretty cool. You can pick it up and move it back and forth. That is awesome. Boy, I could sleep in that. I'd rather sleep in this than this bed. That bed does not look comfortable to me. They had to tie you in it. Paula, I know you know these beds.
Yeah, Janet and I slept in.
They were hospital beds that we had.
They were?
Yeah. That's what Mom said. She says that they were old hospital beds. And they were held together because ours was a little more ornamentation. They had lead in them. And you could kind of put your thumbnails into the lead.
I remember it was soft. It's a miracle I didn't have lead poisoning.
We won't be going upstairs.
Turning milk.
Oh my God. What the hell is this thing? Belonged to some little numbskull, I bet. Yeah, a numbskull. What's that guy's name? I heard his ancestors wound up in Missouri. And he's probably, I bet you he's up there today. Well, this guy that had this, his great-grandson's living up in Missouri, I bet.
But can you imagine this is what you cooked off of? God only knows what the stove was, but
What is it this, you think?
this is a coffee grinder.
Coffee ground?
Yeah.
Whoa, that is...
No, this is well, they're both coffee grinders. This is more modern. That's the real.
That's, I guess there's one too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
What would you cook in this?
Cornbread, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Cornbread, yeah.
Oh my God, Instant Postum. That's from Post cereals back in the old
Oh, and
days.
look at the old sifter. Look at the old sifter up there.
Wow.
Postum was an alternative to coffee back in the old days, put out by Post cereal. I know this because I listen to old time radio shows, and it was barley, which my wife's brother produces and sells today. Only it's mixed with other things because it didn't give you the coffee jitters. If you look up Postum and listen to old Postum ads, that's what they say. They said, you get coffee jitters, drink Postum, refreshing, hot, and all that good stuff.
You know?
Hey, I'd take one.
Wow, this is a coffee ground. This is a coffee ground.
Yeah.
Holy Toledo. Look at this, look at this.
See, I go.
Going. There's your old egg beater. Nothing beats an egg beater.
But that's the back in the
Paula,
day.
show us that whacker. And
Oh.
what's that for? To dust the beds.
For beating blankets and quilts.
Blankets and quilts, clean them up because they couldn't wash them.
So you
Lack of water
hang
and
them
so
on
on.
hang them on the clothesline in the sun and beat them. You do the same thing to carpets
Mm-hmm.
before you had vacuum cleaners.
Carpets, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I didn't know that the marigold flowers make the color to the UK.
Look at that writing. Can you read it?
Oh,
Nope. It's a German Bible.
I
Whoa,
didn't.
that is awesome.
I've read about indigo because that's what you use for blue jeans, but I didn't.
You know?
I didn't know that it grew here and what it looked like. I would.
I didn't know it was a brown walnut.
Look at this fan, Sook. Look at the fan.
Oh yeah.
That is awesome, huh?
Look at that.
Look at this.
Yeah. And do you know what big deal it would have been to have owned something like
I
that?
bet.
That would have been like
You're gonna be
having.
darn rich.
Yeah.
Kenya.
All right. And at night, you sit down and you do some boogie woogie
This the one.
on the old organ. Look at that.
Yeah.
Pump organ. I'm sure you had to pump it.
You know, you had to make the yarn before you could even get.
Maybe it's a piano. Let's just see something. Nah, I don't think so.
Nowadays, some countries
Yeah, it's a pump organ.
do, you know. I saw that the YouTube was
And I just about bet. I can't say, but that's walnuts.
Something that there used to be one kind of kerosene lamp that gave extra light.
Yeah.
I mean, it burned extra bright. And you had to pump it to give it pressure, and they tended to explode.
They
And
grew
were a
cotton
leading
here.
Cause of death of women because they all
Klett
wore
brothers.
those big cotton.
They also had sheep.
My mother's father, his first wife, they were newlyweds, and she.
Shearing the sheep.
And then he
Cotton.
remarried my mother's mother. Yeah. But
Look at them cotton pickers.
All day.
you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, everyone talks about the good old days, but
And we're pretty sure this was for getting the cotton seeds out with the cotton. Nowadays they sell them and people buy them to scratch their cats' backs and dogs' backs
This
that
here is definitely.
got fleas.
You
Everybody,
see things like that.
that's the end of this one, and we're gonna head over to another building in a little while and see what we can say. Thanks for watching.
I've been